Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. This live stream, you are gonna get a very nice 505 beat making session. Yes. As I build up some beats here on my loopers, these 505 loopers, I'm going to be talking about all the technical details of what I'm doing and how am I doing it, which is really helpful if you're thinking about getting a looper, you know, how do you even use these things, or you already have a looper and you just want to see some other artist perspective. There's so much variation among how people use these 505s. And I'm going to give you my perspective today. It'll be interesting even if you're just somebody who likes gear, likes music gear. And right now we are in this warm-up hangout phase. Chilling out to this beat that I made before the stream began, this foundation of what will become a beat, this skeleton of a beat that I put together before the stream began. And as we hang out right now in this warm-up phase, I need to celebrate More specifically, I need to celebrate you. Thank you for being here. Whether you're joining us here live in the chat, like Emperor Kamikaze, or you are joining us live, but you're not in the chat. Or if you're joining us after the stream and you're watching on replay, however you're joining us, thank you for being here. I'm going to celebrate you at this time in this way. I'm going to count up to 3, and I'm going to clink the screen. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness, beginning on 1. That's a good warm-up. Oh, move my arm, getting the blood flowing. That's good. I like it. 2. Yes, the count up is already almost fulfilled, my friends. On 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. Man, that's good. Please like this video. I see right now in the chat, Emperor Kamikaze says, hey, this is just another screen name. I'm Warheart. And I was like, oh, hey, Warheart. Also, still welcome. AKA Numb Thumb. Okay. So, we have got a 505 beat making stream. All right, that's good. That's good. Doing the 505 stream. So here's what's going to happen, my friends. As I said earlier, this is like I'm gonna build up a beat and go through the details of how I'm doing it, because it's just my microphone going into the loopers. I do have a synth. I have a synthesizer down here, but it's not even powered on. But if it were, then it's not even hooked up to the loopers. Only the mic is hooked up to the loopers. So as I build up a beat, I'm going to be showing you how I'm building it up. This should give you some confidence regarding your capacity to do so as well. If you're interested in getting one of these, or you already have one and you just want to see another way to use it. And we'll start by me explaining how I built up the beat as it already stands. I always begin with, a couple exceptions here and there. Most of the time I begin with a kick. So that's what you're hearing right now, this kick. And this one is actually built in an unusual way. There's only 1 or 2 of these in all of my 36 palettes. For both loopers, oh, by the way, I guess I should, if you're a regular, you already know this, but the 2 different loopers are both different generation models of the same looper. The bottom looper is the 505 Mark I, came out first. Top looper is the 505 Mark II, came out second. A lot more features on the Mark II, which I'll be talking about on the stream today, as it is a 505 beat making stream. I see right now that is with us. So how did I build this kick? This kick is unusual because it's a combination. I have 2 different kinds of kicks that I do typically. One of the kicks is an EQ going into a vocal distortion, and that's when I do like when I do that kind of input into it. But I have a second kind of kick, which is the one that I'm doing here, which is more like a guttural kind of thing going in. But this particular one, this kick here, I put a vocal distortion into a lo-fi, which is a combination of the two. The second kind of kick I didn't describe was an EQ and a lo-fi. So one of my normal kicks, EQ and vocal distortion. Another kick, EQ, lo-fi. That's what most of my 36 palettes are. This one is not that. This one is vocal distortion going into a lo-fi. So it's a little unique in that way. Still mostly like the lo-fi. Then the hi-hat and the clap or snare. These are built out of the same vocal distortion, but being fed into a reverb. The hi-hat shaker layer thing, this one. This has a lot of layers in it. Probably 6 or 7 layers. And all I'm doing is just going, or there's some of the layers are, like that's it. I don't have some special acapella talent or skill. It's mostly the loopers that are making it so, you know, listenable. And then again, that's the point of this stream. I'm sort of revealing the magic curtain. I don't know. Reveal, like, what am I trying to say? Is it spoiling the magic? Which again should give you confidence if you want to use one of these things. So that's the percussion. In the lower looper here, I generally use that only for percussion. I generally use the bottom looper, which was the first one, only for percussion or lyrics, if I put lyrics into my songs, which I've been doing recently. You should check out some of my most recent videos as opposed to live streams. I think I have, was it just 2? I think I have 2 that just came out recently that have raps in them. I'll be doing some more of that in the coming months and years. That'll probably just keep getting dialed up, the amount of rap content here on my channel. Anyway, I was talking about the bottom looper and how I use it for percussion, and that's because it's not as feature rich as the top looper. The top looper I use for the bass line, melodies, any harmonic stuff, all that. They both have similar bass functionality, but the top looper has a lot more, I don't know, features, bells and whistles, complication. In any case, bottom looper, plenty for doing some percussion and more. And I have an output effect that's applying to these 2 layers you're hearing. The hi-hat shaker layer, which is this one. And they're all panned. In the upper right-hand corner of the screen right now, you see I have a headphones icon. In general, any of my looper content is best consumed with headphones or some kind of like very good sound system, I suppose. But there is a lot of panning going on. And I got an echo, or what is it, delay? It's a delay. Again, that's the 505 Mark I details if you're doing this too. Oh, and by the way, for my musician friends who like to jam along, this one is tuned to the key of E flat. That is to say, E flat. Beats per minute is 75.0. see Emperor Kamikaze has got a very nice comment going on. He says, oh, okay, I got you. The basic beat on the bottom, but the fancy effects on the top. That's how I use them. Yeah, that's correct. That's how I use these. But behind the microphone is the brain. Oh, go on with you. Whoa, shucks. I blush. I think maybe at best, if there's some kind of gift or skill, if I might be so bold and self-centered as to speak of some kind of skill or gift, then I aspire to simply use those as well. Without it necessarily coming from my brain. That's my point. So I've got the beat, and you have a sense of how I build the beat. I gave some nice descriptions of how I made this kick out of a vocal distortion passed into a lo-fi. I'm doing like a throat kind of. I'll often do that technique as well. If you cup over your, I don't know, whatever you call this, the bridge of your nose, is that what you call this? If you cup loosely over that, not like, pinching it down in any way, but just kind of loosely. It captures a little bit more resonance in there, which is nice. Emperor Kamikaze says, I would never in a million years have thought of what you're doing if I owned a looper. Really? I was always unsure of whether to do these 505 beatmaking streams, because I was unsure whether this is too like simple or I guess, is it not obvious? But I'm glad to hear that that's not the case. Like, this is not super obvious. You wouldn't necessarily think this. That's good. That's the kind of thing where I say, I invite you to please tell me what you want out of these streams, these 505 beatmaking streams. I do these purely in response to a demand, because people did ask me for these. They wanted to see, like, hey, just explain what you're doing as you're building beats. I was like, okay, that's where these streams came from, these 505 beatmaking streams. So yes, thank you. Please keep telling me what is good, what what would be even better to show you, etc. In any case, after I have the percussion, I then go on to the top looper, and that includes the bass, as you hear right now. My regulars know that the top looper, the way I use it for my anything melodic, harmonic, anything with a tonality to it. Because one of the additional features that the Mark II, the top looper, brought is a tuner. So I can sit here and like not be able to sing at all. Like, you hear this bass line. It's on key. This is an E flat. That doesn't mean I'm singing in an E flat. This is really just me going into the mic like, like I'm barely exaggerating. But it's making it sound better. The tuner is. So how did I build this bass line? Just like on the bottom looper, I would build multiple effects. I built a vocal distortion into a reverb I was talking about, a vocal distortion into a lo-fi. The bottom looper supports up to 3 input effects at a time. That's, by the way, when somebody comes in the chat and then I say their name with a bunch of reverb, I do that because there's two input effects in the looper. It's actually these two right here. You can generally see that's what I have when I'm talking. This one all the way on the left is a very clear EQ. It's a pretty well balanced. I took out some of the low end. My voice tends to have some low end a bit, and I don't want to conflict with the music and the bass and everything. And then the reverb. That's the one on the right over here, this red light over here. So I'm just turning this knob. There you go. More ruining the magic, I guess. Revealing the magic. So the bass, how did I make the bass? The top looper lets you stack up to 4 effects at a time. 4 input effects at a time for a given instrument that you might build. And I built this bass instrument out of the following 4 input effects. My regulars know how I build my bass usually, which is with a so-called guitar to bass effect. Guitar to bass is exactly what it sounds like. If you were to hook up a guitar to the looper instead of a microphone, you were to hook up a guitar to bass to the looper. Or, I'm sorry, you were going to hook up a guitar to the looper and then use guitar to bass on that input. It would make it sound like you're playing a bass rather than a guitar. So that's the input effect. It just drops some octaves, and makes the sound different in a couple other ways too that I'm not knowledgeable enough to describe. But it makes it sound like a bass. So this is me going into the microphone like do or whatever I was doing today, and it just drops and it makes it sound like a bass. That's the first input effect that I use when I build my bass instrument here. Then I put that through the electric. Those are the 505 details if you want it, but it's the tuner effectively. This is what makes it sound like an E flat. So I got the guitar to bass going into the tuner, and then this is different. There's only a couple of my basses that I do this with. I have 36 different palettes of instruments. Each one has a single bass in it. There's only a couple that I do this with it. I got the guitar to bass to the electric into a distortion. And so if you're hearing on the bass right now, it's not turned up a lot, but there is like a growliness to the bass, and that's coming from the distortion. More specifically, a fuzz distortion is what this was. There's, I don't know, what is it, 5, 6, 7 different types of distortions that the top looper gives you. The bottom looper only gives you one type of distortion, I think. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, it's just one type of distortion on the bottom looper. And it's a good distortion. It's a nice growl. But the top looper lets you choose among, what is it? 6 different types of distortions, and they all have different like aggressiveness to them. So again, the Mark II is so much more powerful than the Mark I. It's incomparable. Sometimes I say it was like doing 5 upgrades at once. There's so much more on the top looper. Anyway, so I built this bass out of passing the guitar to bass into the tuner, the electric, and then into the fuzz distortion. And then it finally, the 4th effect was a sustainer, which is, I usually just use as a volume increase, total level increase, but it's really more of a loudness increase. In any case, that's what I used here. Bassline's not bad. I see right now, though, we have joining us in the chat. James Dyson! Welcome. So this is going really well. We have got the percussion. You saw, or you heard anyway, you heard how I did the percussion, how I built it up from the different input effects. The bass line, you heard how I built this one up. And then now you just heard me bring in this other one. This one is the one I usually describe that I use it like a horn. So how did I build this sound? By the way, I see there's a bunch of chat that I need to get caught up on here. That's the other benefit of these 505 beat making streams. These are one of the two. Two of my streams, I do a lot more talking, and I'm happy to go off track. So I don't necessarily, need to be very efficient with like, I'm going to talk only about the synth stuff. Or in this case, actually looper stuff. I'm happy to go talk about other stuff too. So again, I see Emperor Kamikaze was talking about the Tibetan throat singers, which is like, yes, I'm interested. That's dope. Once in a while, I am able to like flip my vocal cords into that resonant, sustained, but not straining your voice singing. I can't do it on command though. I couldn't just like spontaneously do it now on the microphone before you and then say ta-da. I wouldn't be able to do that. Or at least at this very instant I cannot. Perhaps I can develop that skill. But Emperor Kamikaze says, beatboxing is not a skill I've developed. Yeah, me neither. You hear modern beatboxers? Oh my goodness. They're wild. It's amazing. It's amazing what modern beatboxers can do. Acapella, I do very little. I do something that's like... That's one of my styles. Or the other one... That's all I can do a cappella, basically. I got a couple other tricks up my sleeve here and there, but I'm not some awesome, they have these international competitions of people who sound like I don't even know, a full band, and it's really just them on the mic. It's like, how you doing that? I just use the loopers. It's the loopers that are making it sound good, which again, I share for those of you who are interested in just the details because you like music gear and you like learning about the stuff. Or if you're trying to learn it, I think you should have a lot of confidence, because if you think any of this sounds at all good or listenable, it's not because I'm a good singer. It's because the loopers are making it sound nice. Emperor Kamikaze says that he'd be using some kind of instruments when maybe more conventional instruments when using loopers, not being as creative as this. Emperor Kamikaze says that reconsider it, that I understand the tools and do unique stuff. I wish I could list for you some other artists who use 505s. I very readily accept your compliment that I do unique stuff and it's really creative. To me, this feels almost pedestrian from my perspective. Pedestrian and so straightforward and obvious. A lot of other 505 artists do some really cool stuff. I know I should probably have some to list off by name, but I don't. It's easy to find some if you search on YouTube. Search for like 505 beatboxers. I wonder, Helium? I know Helium is a beatboxer. I don't know if he uses a looper. Oh man, there's one guy who's really good. Oh, I wish I could remember his name, because I would love to recommend him. Oh man. But he does this series on his Instagram page. I don't know if he does it on his YouTube page. Oh, is it Rhythm Mind? I think that's his name. Rhythm Mind with one M. It's like one word, Rhythm Mind. I think that's the guy I'm thinking of. Rhythm Mind is an artist. I don't know if it's the one I'm thinking of right now. I think it is. Anyway, Rhythm Mind. Go look up Rhythm Mind on Instagram. And he does this series where I don't know the exact name of it, but he basically just remakes music, like famous, popular songs from, you know, big artists and whatever. Can you remake this with your mouth? Something like that is the name of the series. And he has one of these, the top loopers. He has the Mark II. And what he does, that is impressive. That is really impressive. You are going to be really impressed if you find it. Man, I wish I could. I wonder if I can. Hold on. Maybe I can open up a web browser and do that. Hold on. Yep, I remembered correctly. It's Rhythm Mind, and his series is Can You Make This With Your Mouth? You'll find a lot of his videos that just says that as the thumbnail. His stuff is awesome. Check that out. If you want to see some other 505 stuff. Any case, how did I make this noise, this instrument here? Because the top looper lets you save up to 4 instruments. My bass is one of my instruments, and then I have this other instrument. Each instrument gets built out of 4 layers, as I was saying with the bass. So how did I build this instrument? This one is built out of the synth. And that's still coming through on this. It has like a very much like a horn kind of a vibe. Not exactly like a trumpet. I don't know how you describe this. But it has like sort of a horn. They're even a little clashy. I might, I don't know, I'll see. Maybe I'll keep these. I'm thinking about whether I want to redo them or just keep them as they are. But these are the ones, by the way, my regulars know this, that on my top looper, which I use just for the melodic and harmonic stuff, I arrange the loops according to panning. So my middle loop is the bass, and that's always center pan. I think always. I don't know if there's an exception. It escapes me at the moment. But then to the left and right are these 2 layers that are 2 recordings of the same instrument. I just have a slightly different harmonic in each of them. And they are both panned a little bit to the left and right. Again, it's best with headphones. So this one is built out of the synth, which is what the main flavor of it, what makes it sound kind of like a horn in a way. That gets passed into the electric, which is the tuner. Then that gets passed into a tremolo. There is a little bit of a waviness if you listen. So that's the tremolo added in. The synth passed into electric, passed into tremolo. And the tremolo, I always sync all of them with the beats per minute. Again, if you're one of my musician friends and you're playing along, this is an E flat. Beats per minute is 75.0. Synth, electric for the tuner, tremolo, and then passed into a distortion. So that you can hear the distortion in these. It's got like a bitingness to it. It's even a little bit of clipping, probably. I saw that Emperor Kamikaze above was talking about the distortion options. I agree too. I like having all the, what was it, 6? I was telling you earlier? 6 different distortions. There's a lot of chat I'm just getting caught up on right now. James Dyson says, you remember that guy from the police academy? Oh, man, yes. What was his name? What was it like? Oh, man. I don't want to come up with the wrong name. The last name Winslow is coming to me. Was that the character in the movie or the actor? I don't know, or maybe that's not related at all. But yeah, that guy from the police academy, he was no joke. He was probably one of the first people ever in the public domain who was so, like, jaw-droppingly like, how were you doing that? I think that there's something to do with, like, the way that your jaw and skull are structured and the way sound resonates in your throat. That there is such a thing as a natural capacity versus a natural limitation that you have to work within. There's a limit to what you can just do by hard work. I'm still getting caught up on the chat. I see there's a lot of nice interactions going on. I see there's discussion of a humid summer. I think it's supposed to get to like 90 degrees or something around here. So it's going to be a pretty hot day. And now the time has come, my friends. Now that you've learned all the little pieces of the beat foundation that we have, as it is with the drums and the bass line and everything. You saw 2 instruments on the top. The bass, that's one of the instruments from the top layer. Then there's this other one, this horn, distorted horn thing. That's another instrument. And I have 2 more instruments on the top layer, the top looper. We're going to explore both of those instruments right now, those remaining instruments in this palette. I'll talk to you about how I built them. And then I got 2 remaining loops here that are unused. They're both going to each go, or they're each going to go in. Each of the instruments will get one of these open loops. There you go. You probably knew what I meant. So let's start by seeing what are the other instruments here. Let me take a look. Put some nice reverb. What kind of reverb is on this? A reverse reverb I'm putting on this. So here's that horn, by the way, with no output effects. But then I put the reverse reverb on it, which is dope. Then I could bring the other one in. Now that's why I say they're a little clashy. They're both a little, clipping. Is it clipping? I don't know if it's technically clipping, but it's slightly offensive to the ear. Could bring in some slicer. What do you think of this? And I usually don't put output effects on my bass. Once in a while I do. Sometimes if I'm doing a loops and chill stream and I'm just, messing with things and doing all sorts of wild, live performance style things. Sometimes I'll flip that on. But usually not. More than 95% of the time, I don't apply outputs to the bass. So you hear the bass line right now still sounds steady, even though the other one's getting all sliced. Also, I have a heavy delay on my drums, on the clap. and the hi-hat here, but not on the kick drum. Kick drum is totally clean. Here's everything clean. But now up on the delay, it's just the clap and the hi-hat that have the delay brought in. That's pretty unusual. Normally, maybe like 70 to 80% of the time, I do apply the output effects onto the kick drum. And I might still, if I do something like this, where I have my favorite output effect, the low-pass filter. For this, you want to capture all the drums. Oh, that's so nice. It's so satisfying. Oh, that's good. You know what else is really good? The fact that the crazy woman has joined us, which is just like a very strong enhancement to the whole vibe. The whole Vibby, the entire Vibby is like enhanced at this time. So what are these remaining two instruments that I'm going to use? I keep saying that we're going to do it. Let's do it. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. One of them is based on a synth. Another one is based on a preamp. All right, I know what I'm going to do with these. And this is just based on, you know, having used these a bunch of times that I have a sense of what they're going to be used for. I'm going to do one right now. So the next thing I describe, you haven't heard yet. It's not yet recorded. I haven't used it yet on the stream. But this next instrument that I'm going to use is built the following way. This again this is for you who are looking for the details of the 505, like what button did you push and what does it do? Like if you're looking for those kind of details, that's what this is. So this next instrument that I'm going to use, it's built out of a synth, which is the same core flavor as this one. But this next one that I'm going to use, this like horn type of thing, passed into a electric, which is the tuner, and makes it an E flat in this case. Then passed into a tremolo. Is it the same? Let's see. I'm looking to see if it's the same frequency. It's not. The previous tremolo on this instrument, on this one, this is a tremolo at an 1/8 note based on the beats per minute of the beat. This next one, this is based on a 1/2 note, so it's going to be much more sparse. So similar bass, synth, going into electric, going into a tremolo but more sparse, and then this one has a reverse delay on it. So again, you have not heard this one yet on the stream, but I'm going to go off the mic unless I get, there's a lot of chat. Hold on, let me get caught up on the chat. I see there's a lot of being outside and doing yard work and doing gardening and stuff. That's good. And James Dyson has a very nice recommendation in the chat. He says, "Hey, you should go like the stream." I agree. You should obey James Dyson. You should definitely do that. You should like the stream. The man knows what he's talking about. It's really, if you ever feel like, you know, if you ever feel like you just wish you had some kind of guiding light, some kind of maybe a little more vivid, a little more reliable light at the end of the tunnel, reason to have hope. You know, you're looking for that kind of stuff, and I mean, James Dyson's really just bringing it. You really should just like the stream. Like the stream. Like the video, man. Like it. I just realized that we have both Empirism and Emperor Kamikaze. And Emperor Kamikaze says, democracy is so last millennium. Let's go Empire. Yeah, there's a lot of empiring in the chat right now. As I now realize. Let us chuckle. And then, as I say, my friends, I'm going to go into the new instrument, the one you haven't heard yet. And I'm going to use this loop over here. This one is panned in your headphones. This next one I'm going to do that you haven't heard yet. This is going to be panned farthest to the left. So it's positioned farthest to the left. Synth, electric, the tuner, sparse tremolo, reverse reverb. Or I'm sorry, reverse delay. Let's do it. So that's that new instrument you hadn't heard yet. And I'll bring that back in right now. It's about to start again. Each loop, you know, is on its own time. This one here. This is the new one that I just recorded. Farthest to the left in the pan, farthest to the left in the thing over here, in the physical position of the looper. Built out of a synth, electric, tremolo, reverse delay. You can really hear the reverse delay in it. The tremolo is a little harder to hear because that's only once every half a measure. So it's the most, that's the most sparse that it goes. Yeah, this looper doesn't go any more sparse than that. This one I like a lot actually, and it works well with the bass and all the other pieces. I'm still feeling like I might want to re-record these other ones though. They're not as much hitting the mark for me. These layers here, hold on. See, that one sounds good. These, it's a little too much of a sore thumb, I think. So I'm gonna, they're gone. I'm gonna re-record them. Let's do this. I'm gonna go back to the other instrument. And this one was, these are the ones I'm gonna re-record right now. These were synth, passed into electric, passed into tremolo, that's a lot tighter. This one is an 8th note tremolo. And then passed into a distortion. So the distortion maybe is where I need to mess with it. Because it was sounding a little too abrasive, taking up a little too much space and a little too much attention. So maybe I'll go mess with the distortion a bit. I might even turn the tremolo up, maybe to a 16th note. Before I do though, I have to make sure we're all in the loop regarding the fact that your man, Thomas has joined us in the chat, which is amazingly good. That's a good omen. That's a good omen. So let's take that good omen, my friends. let me re-record these Johns right here. And I don't know what I'm gonna re-record them as. I don't have an idea. All I know is they're gonna be like supporting. They're not supposed to be foreground, getting your attention. They're supposed to be just sort of like background-ish, not much to speak about layers. Yeah, 16th note now. Supporting the bass. I'm gonna play around, let's see. Okay, I think this is a clear improvement. If you go back in the video like 20 minutes and you listen to the like horn type of thing that I had going on these two layers, this is way better. This is so, oh man, that's good. See, this is what it's like sometimes when you do this 505 beat making, is that you sometimes like use something as a temporary bridge while you're building it up, and then you say, and you replace it with something that's pretty wildly different. But the only reason that you're at that point to do that wildly different and better thing is because you had that crummy thing earlier, and you have just had the opportunity to witness that, which is glorious. I can bring back that other thing now. It's still a bit loud, so I'm dropping the volume. By the way, when you see me do that on my streams, you'll sometimes see me on this top looper
hit this green button on one of these, I'm just like boink, and then you see me come over here to this button, and I start doing this. I start like tweaking it a little bit. That's a volume level. You can program the buttons to do whatever you want, but that's how I've programmed it. So it's easy to just quickly, you know, do some loose mixing. I want to bring this one out, so I make it a little louder. What they don't have is an EQ on each individual layer. That would be really good. I hope they do that if they ever do a Mark III. I don't expect them to do a Mark III ever, or certainly not anytime soon, but if they did, give us a full EQ on each layer. I see some agreement in the chat regarding the fact that these sound a bit nicer than before. Much more harmonic. It's definitely nicer. Yeah, I'm so glad I went back and redid these. I see also James Dyson has to head out. He's going to do one of his own streams, it sounds like. That's very exciting. For anyone who doesn't know James Dyson, you should definitely be checking out his streams as well. He does all sorts of synth stuff that's really just going to blow your mind. Like every single stream is going to blow your mind. He has the widest palette of styles you're ever going to see. He's got a lot of different instruments and devices, but styles, like what he plays and everything. It's awesome. Check out his streams as well, James Dyson, if you're not familiar with him. So this is pretty good. We're building up a beat pretty nicely here. We still have one more instrument in my palette here that you've not heard yet and I've not talked about yet. And we've got one more loop to be used, so that works out very nicely. So what is this final instrument here? This final instrument that I've not brought in yet on this stream. And once again, for my musician friends who like to jam along, this one is an E flat, and the beats per minute is 75.0. So this final instrument here that I have not brought in yet, this one is going to be built in the following way, or it already is built in that way. I start with a preamp. A preamp on these 505, on the top 505. The preamp doesn't exist on the bottom one. So this is another example of like just so many new things on the top looper. The preamp is, I mean, it's like you were playing a guitar and you plugged it into a literal physical amp. And you know how that might sound, where it gets like amplified, but there's also a lot of distortion, and you know, it's like using an amp. And you can literally put a different diameter. Is it diameter or radius? I'm not sure what it is. But you can put a, you know, simulating or emulating different size of a speaker. I guess radius, that probably is. 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. That's what it says. 2 times 10 inches. So you're emulating playing an amp as if you plugged in your guitar to play. So that's the fundamental voice or the core sound of this next instrument that I'm going to be bringing in right now. The preamp, then, that's the first sound effect. Then that gets passed into the electric, which is the tuner. And then that gets passed into a tape echo, which is just a type of delay. And then that one gets passed into a delay, which is a more formal delay. So two different types of delays. Are they both, what are their, okay, they're different levels of milliseconds. The tape echo is on 200 milliseconds. The delay is on just 100 milliseconds. All right, let's see how this sounds. We're gonna have two different levels of delay built on this preamp thing. I'm gonna go off of the speaking mic right now, and I'm gonna turn the instruments on. Let's see what's happening with this new instrument that I'm gonna be using to build out the rest of this beat here on this 505 beat making stream. So this is that new instrument there. You can hear, having been built out of a preamp, you can hear how it has that, like, you know, punk rock. What am I looking for? Aesthetic. And then it's got some delay going on in there. This one, the loop here is twice as long as the longest everything else. My kick and my hi-hat here are both only 2 loops long, 2 bars long. The snare clap layer here, that's 4 bars long. The bass is 8 bars long. These harmonic resonant layers are 4 bars long. This other lead kind of layer here, that's 8 bars long. But this new one that I just made, this like really heavy solo, this one like only makes sense when the drums are in. This one is 16 bars long. I see right now that all true is here, as is Thomas says that the preamp adds more heat in the signal. I like it. Yeah, that one has a little bit of like competing for the stage. The two on the left and right extremes. Here, let me, these are competing a little bit. Now there is some styles I do where I'll have things that I never play at the same time, and that's part of the compositional style. That might work here. And I could have like this one playing because it's more of a tame kind of like following. Good to leave on loop when I'm not talking. But then there's the other one, which is kind of more stealing center stage. This one here. Thomas says, wow, 16 bars, that's huge. It is pretty big. I've done it in most of my palettes at this point, where I reserve this rightmost channel for 16 bars, something that's very much like a foreground center stage, you know, screaming guitar solo kind of thing. And it's not in all of my palettes, but most of them, or how about this, a lot of them, I don't know if it's even most. A lot of them have this rightmost channel programmed to be 16 bars. And I've been doing pretty well with it. I don't always do it, sometimes I take it down to 8. But I do find over time that my bars are getting longer and longer in every way. Like my bass used to be only 4 bars, but now I've expanded it to 8 everywhere. My clap and my snare used to follow the kick and be 2 bars usually, but I've made it so that my snare clap is always 4 bars. So in general, my loops are getting longer and richer. I try. I mean, maybe I'm being too egotistical, or is that the right word? Maybe I'm thinking too highly of my navel gazing. Can my music be called much more than just navel gazing? I don't know. But I do like this like big resonant, reverby experience here. We're in the clouds, friends. I see All True is heading out to a barbecue, some kind of jazz fest barbecue. That sounds awesome. Friends, we have another good 505 beat making experience on the books. Listen to this beat. This nice big resonant beat that we built up here. Tore it down a little bit and remade it. It's got some nice energy to it. Thank you for being here today. I'm about to come through with the cheers ritual. This one's going to be really fast. I hope you're ready if you're going to join us. If you're going to join us for this very exciting cheers on 3, it goes like this. 1, oh my goodness. 2, oh wow, it's really just it's the most amazing quick thing that's happening on 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. Whew. Oh man, I gotta like catch my breath. It's so good. Please like this video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for enjoying this 505 beat making stream along with the rest of us. As always, please let me know what else you would like to know about the 505s. When I do these 505 beat making streams, it is in your service for what needs you have. Whether you are here with us today live in the chat, or you are here with us live but you're not in the chat, or you're joining us after the stream on replay, thank you for being here. I hope to see you again in the next live stream. We have a variety of live streams in the Reconsider It experience. We have these 4 streams here. And today we had the upper right 505 beat making, where I explain everything I'm doing on the loopers while I'm doing it. Talk about the different buttons and what they do. But there's a couple other types of live streams as you see here. In the upper left, we got the loops and chill. That's like you see me at a venue, at a bar, and I'm doing a show. It's much more like one song to the next, much more efficient. It's all improvised, but it's still songs with a beginning and end, beginning, middle, and end. In the bottom left, we also got unspoken, where it's just improvising for an hour or more, but no talking at all. We got the loops, got the loopers, we got the synthesizer I bring into that, but no talking. That's the lower left, that's unspoken. Then we got the lower right, talking about tinkering in the studio. That's where you get a lot of talking, like this stream. This stream, there was a lot of talking. Tinkering in the studio, there's also a lot of talking while I play around on the loopers and the synthesizers. Whenever it is that you join us again, my friends, I hope to see you then. I am looking forward to seeing you then. And until then, please have a very good rest of your day today. Please have an enchanting and exciting rest of your day today. Please let the rest of your day today be exactly as productive as you need it to be today. Please let the rest of your day today bring you all manner of healing and goodness today. Bring you to entirely new levels, entirely new levels of hope. What you feel is good and possible and look forward to, and give you more and more reasons to wake up and say, yes, yes, I get to live another day. Please open your eyes to that today. Please let the rest of your day today bring you healing beyond which you thought was even possible, beyond your own doubt, beyond everything. Please receive healing beyond that today, and I will see you